Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now May 8th of 2023, and not only are we getting closer to the Ahsoka Tano series, but let's also not forget about the fact that John and Dave are heavily working on Mando Season 4, along with a full slate of other Star Wars shows, which by the way will be announced at this year's D23 event that takes place in September. That's really going to add on to basically the roster of Star Wars shows that will be placed in many different points in time. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into the subject. Now, one thing is for certain is that we know that Kathleen Kennedy has been getting very defensive as of late toward the fandom, toward the community, and just the overall structure of the Star Wars franchise, right? We know that she is shifting away from George Lucas's vision on purpose and his philosophy with the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, and that's why she views it as writing on a blank canvas, doing her own thing with Leslie Headland and John Watts. Now, this has been a real struggle between the fandom and Kathleen Kennedy doing whatever she wants to do with those two projects. And what's interesting is exactly what Kathleen Kennedy had to say about the fandom, what she blames toward the overall community, and more. So, with Kathleen Kennedy still having issues with the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, Kennedy recently was able to talk more about the current state of the fandom, including the fan backlash, the division, and more related to their recent work and announcements. Kennedy went on to inform the fans, "I just think that we have a really big problem where so many fans have this sense of entitlement. I just feel that we need to ignore the fans that are loud, opinionated, and unappreciative of our work, and we just like to filter them out, especially while we have been working on Acolyte and Skeleton. When we made the announcement for Daisy's return as Rey, I was very prepared for the immature responses to follow after her announcement, and to nothing of my surprise, we got lots of criticism. Many fans claim they don't want to see this character or that character, and I think they need to realize that it's not up to the fans to decide, it's up to us, and what the creators want to do." Now, again, I want to just stop here quick about what Kathleen Kennedy's pointing out, is that this just goes to show you that she's fully aware, very much aware about what's going on with the fandom. You know, the fact that there's a lot of fans out there that have been very upset and let down about where Star Wars has been going for the past couple of years now, actually. And she knows that. She absolutely is very fully aware about all of that, and she's literally admitting it here, and how she was so prepared for Daisy Ridley's announcement as Rey and her return to get a negative response. So it makes you wonder, if you knew that you were going to get a negative response, why pursue something that would create such a response? Well, the answer to that is, Kennedy to this day still believes it's a minority of fans that do not like sequel trilogy content. Now, this is actually quite the opposite. In fact, it's the majority of Star Wars fans that do not like sequel trilogy content on a consistent basis. A lot of fans out there, like myself, might like some scenes in the sequels here and there, you know, little bits and pieces. Then you have fans that just, dislike them through and through. But then I think she's getting confused with the common moviegoers. You guys may realize, if you guys know common moviegoers, as friends or family, you will realize that they absolutely love all of the Disney Star Wars movies from start to finish with no problems at all. And this is because they're not necessarily quote-unquote Star Wars fans. So I think Kathleen Kennedy is getting mixed up with the reception of those movies with common moviegoers toward the actual hardcore fans that really support this franchise through and through. These are the people that see the movies 2, 3, 4, even 5 times, buy all the merchandise, do all these different things. So, moving on to the next thing here, she continues on, and it doesn't get better, of course, not a surprise. She says, "I think fans really need to just keep their opinions to themselves." I don't believe so. I think that's a wrong thing for her to say, but whatever. She goes on, "and keep their thoughts to themselves because they are only causing trouble for the creative team and the actors to focus correctly. And I do blame many fans sometimes for perhaps underperformance of certain decisions that we have made for some of our projects. there is this pressure, you know, for everyone or on what the fans think now. And I absolutely blame the loud, opinionated fans for causing some of the production mishaps that we have had for the past couple of movies and shows. When you force this demand on them, they aren't going to work efficiently, and that's when problems begin to arise. I just feel this fandom needs to grow up and take responsibility for themselves. I confidently do believe that they are very afraid of diversity and strong female icons becoming the focus on the shows by Leslie and John that are working on with me. And it's unfortunate that this is what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Again, she always likes to pull that diversity card and the whole, you know, strong female power thing going on. She always pulls that card, or cards, and it really just makes your head spin because it's nothing new. We've always had, you know, diversity in pop culture. It's been around forever, and we've had many characters that were, you know, female-led warriors that really were well written. Sarah Connor, Ellen Ripley, Princess Leia in Star Wars. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it just is something that they either A, forget about, or B, they fully know about. They just want to push some kind of agenda where the characters aren't well written, and it's just used as some message. And basically those shows, like Acolyte and Skeleton Crew by Kathleen Kennedy, are just these vessels to deliver those messages. And that's the problem that I think those shows are going to have, and why I really don't talk about them all that much. Not just because of that, but there's really not all that much going on. There's a lot of toxicity going on with those projects, a lot of issues and stuff around those lines, and so we'd like to keep the balance here. But overall, guys, I'm really intrigued to hear what you have to say about Kathleen Kennedy's, you know, overall focus on the fans, because this is something that I think, at the end of the day, is really clarifying. It just goes to show you what she thinks about the fans. She goes on to say that fans should keep opinions and thoughts to themselves. Look, that's not freedom of speech. I think everyone deserves to put out an opinion, whether it's good or bad, right? People are free to do that, and especially for, you know, valid reasons or for criticism. You know, anybody can, you know, get criticism. That's freedom of speech, right? So these movies, these shows that a lot of fans just did not agree with, basically what she's saying is that fans should stay silent and not say anything, because it destroys the focus of the creators and the actors. And look, I get it, sometimes maybe it gets a little blown out of proportion with, you know, some fans, you know, being very loud, but I fully stand by it, because I just feel that fans are very passionate, and they love what they watch, they love what they grew up with, and they just want to relive that experience and feel those same emotions again. That's pretty much what it boils down to. And that's what Kathleen Kennedy is stripping away from with those two Star Wars shows. So anyways, guys, you know, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.